If you want short form content that actually brings in high ticket clients instead of just views, this video is for you. I have personally scripted over 10,000 pieces of short form content for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts for coaches, consultants, agency owners, and service-based business owners who sell something high ticket. For a long time, most of those scripts got attention but didn't convert. They went viral, they got likes, they got followers, but they didn't attract serious buyers. Eventually, after thousands of test patterns and failures, I have found a formula that does 3 things in this exact order: gets attention, holds attentions, and converts attention into high ticket clients. And in this video, I'm going to break down that exact formula so you can apply it to your short form scripts immediately. But before we speak about that formula, we need to speak about the biggest mistake most people make with their short form scripts. Let's get into it. So yes, I am on the treadmill. Just so you know, I like to get my steps in, at least 15k a day. But anyway, the first thing I want to go through is the biggest mistake everyone makes. And it's the viral trap. Most people think the job of short form content is to go viral because they've seen all these coaches, these gurus saying, okay, go viral, you're going to get more attention and that's going to convert into high ticket clients. But I actually want to quickly speak on my own experience with that as well, which is I got 120 million views in 1 year. I was getting 10 million views a month, okay? And I made $20 from that. $20, which equates to like £20 or £18 or 20, I don't even know. I don't know the conversion rate, but still $20 from 120 million views. Okay, views is not clients, and that's what most people need to start understanding. And when I get on calls with clients or potential clients, they're like, "Oh yeah, just get me the most amount of views possible." I'm like, I have to explain to them, you don't want views, okay? You want the right views. And to be honest, on the surface, it does make sense. More views should mean more clients, right? Like more people knowing about your offer, more people should buy from you, but it just doesn't do that. Virality on its own is useless if you attract the wrong attention, okay? So if you're attracting, let's say, for example, you sell a high ticket offer, who I'm speaking to, and your high ticket offer is helping fitness coaches make more money. Helping fitness coaches scale to 100k a month, for example, just an example, okay? And you're speaking to fitness people, fitness coaches, yes, but you're speaking to a fitness coach that's at like 1k a month. That's a broke prospect, okay? But you target people who are making 5 to 10k a month, okay? The 1k a month person who you're speaking to, if you want to go viral, you're going to attract a load of them. They're going to book in calls with you. Yes, you're going to get book calls from viral content, but they're going to show up not pre-sold, which is most important, and they just don't have the money. Okay, because you went viral, you decided yourself to go viral. I'm going to focus on going viral, and this is what happens. Okay, it's not the right thing to do, and this leads you to become great at scroll stopping content. Okay, but terrible at directing the viewer anywhere meaningful. Your scripts are built to impress the algorithm, not to move a buyer. And the viewer watches, maybe learns something interesting, maybe even thinks this person is smart, but then scrolls to the next video. And there's no urgency, no positioning, no reason to take the next step. Your content should speak directly to your ideal client, so they think, damn, I need to go on this guy's profile or girl's profile and watch more of their content, okay? So most of you guys are actually writing scripts backwards, okay? And what I mean by this is you're starting off without knowing who you're actually speaking to. So you're trying to go viral, and then when people come in the door, you're trying to tailor to them. And that's a bad thing. Every high converting short form script needs to be written with the end in mind. So who is this for? What belief needs to be changed? And what action do I want the qualified viewer to take after watching? If you don't decide that up front, the script will always default to entertainment instead of conversion. Once you stop writing scripts for views and start writing them for conversions, everything changes, okay? Because you're actually speaking to your ideal client. So again, you need to get attention, you need to hold retention, okay? So you need to get people to stay on the video, and you need a way for them to take action. Now, I'm not saying in every one of your scripts you should be telling them to buy from you. Like, I explain the exact structure in a minute. But most people only focus on the first one. So attention is literally just the entry point. And the mistake is thinking these happen automatically. They don't, okay? Each part has a specific job, and if you mess up the order, the whole script collapses. And first, what you need to realize is the idea comes before the script. So if you're just scripting and like you just decide to sit down and you're just like, I'm just going to script a piece of content, that's not going to work. You have to find the right topics to speak about that are relevant to your ideal client. It always goes for me anyway and my clients, because we do everything for our clients, the whole content creation process. It always goes research, ideation, scripting, editing, and then of course posting. Okay, because we need a good idea, we need a good topic, and that way it makes it 10 times easier to actually write the script as well. And you can't outright a bad idea. A great script with a weak idea that hasn't been proven to work either will still flop. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't focus on going viral all the time. Like, going viral is great. I love going viral, and it should be used in your top of funnel content. But if you really want to convert viewers, you can get attention through viral content, but you need to nurture through specific content and scripting structure that I'm going to go through in a minute. And by the way, guys, quick pause. If you're a 6 to 8 figure entrepreneur and you want us to completely do your content for you, we will ideate, script, edit, post your content and convert that attention into high ticket clients, while you only have to do one thing one time a week, which is press record for an hour. Check out the first link in the description, book in a call, and we can speak in more detail. But anyway, back to the video. If your idea is vague, the script will feel vague. And if the idea is too broad, the audience will be unqualified. So there's a kind of like, you need to be in between. You need to be not too broad that you're going to everyone, but not too niche that people don't understand, and it's not gonna like get pushed out to more people, if that makes sense. And this is why so many entrepreneurs post consistently, follow good hooks, follow good ideas, but still don't attract high ticket clients. They're scripting content without pressure testing the idea. The idea is super important. So what I like to do with the idea side of things is first run it through a 3-question filter. I ask who this is actually for, so who this video is going to be for. And I ask myself this because I want it to be relevant to my ideal client. The next thing I ask is what belief needs to change, because what most people don't understand is your prospects have a bunch of beliefs. They have loads of beliefs that are stopping them from taking action, and your content should completely destroy them. So your videos, your video idea should be tailored so it shifts a belief, okay? And it overcomes an objection and it answers a question or concern. And that's when people are gonna actually take action. And the last thing I ask, can this get a small win? So can this get my viewer a small win? If they watch the video till the end, can they implement what I said and actually get a small win? And that small win is gonna build up the trust needed for them to take action and buy from us, okay? Buy from you. Just an example here, again, fitness I do all the time because it's easy to understand, but this is for everyone. Instead of how to gain muscle, switch it to what is the best bicep exercise to gain mass. And this way they can get a small win. This is really specific, and you're literally solving a really simple but specific problem. Okay, so each one of your content ideas should do this. It should just solve a specific problem that is not too niche that they're like, what the fuck? But it's not too broad that they're like, oh, okay, this isn't even for me, and scroll. Okay, so now you've got your idea, it's time to script your video. Okay, so the first part of your video should, again, focus on grabbing the attention, but you don't want to be too broad that it goes to everyone and randoms, but you don't want to be too niche that it doesn't go to anyone at all, because that's the problem. Most people are too niche and they call out this specific. If you're a dad who's over 50 who wants to get in shape and wants to do this, no, don't do that in your hook. It's going to ruin the video. You can, what I like to say is throughout the video, you can niche down so it speaks directly to your ideal client, and I will show you how to do that in a minute. But this part should be your main focus. If people don't stay on your video and watch it, it won't get pushed out, and that's just simple. There are 3 hook formulas I like to use, and I'm going to run you through them. So I'm just going to read from here real quick. So first is authority plus pattern break. So what you're going to do is lead with credibility and immediately flip an assumption. So for example, I've done X at scale, and here's the thing nobody tells you about Y. An example of this would be one of the hooks I literally use. I've written over 10,000 short form scripts, and the biggest reason yours isn't converting has nothing to do with your hook. And this works because it earns attention through proof, and then it creates curiosity by challenging what they think matters, okay? Next one is negative truth hook. So negativity is always going to work on social media. Like, being controversial is always going to work. And especially for views, okay, if you're focused on views, yes, be very controversial and you're going to get views. That's why, you know who, what color is your Bugatti guy, got so many views because he was controversial. This is why loads of people who are big in a space are controversial, because of this, okay? So being negative is always going to win because it's basically controversy, okay? So call out a mistake the viewer is currently making without attacking them directly. So an example of this, the reason you're not getting X is because you're doing Y. The reason, and I'm just going to keep it to short form content because that's what I'm speaking about. The reason your short form content isn't bringing in high ticket clients is because you're writing it for views instead of buys. And this works because it creates tension, self-awareness, and being controversial always wins, as I just said. Now, the third type of hook is an outcome first hook. And what you're going to do here is focus on the result they want, then reframe how it's actually achieved. So if you want X, stop doing Y and start doing Z. And by the way, if you want all of these hooks, I'm going to leave second link in the description. I'm going to leave like 10 to 20 for each of these, so you can just steal them, okay, and implement it to your industry. So an example of this, if you want short form content that brings in high ticket clients, stop chasing viral hooks and start scripting with intention. And why this works, it speaks directly to desired and introduces a new mechanism they want to understand, okay? So that's the hook side of things. And what you need to realize is there's many hooks you can test, there's many formats you can test, but the hook is the most important part. And I would say being negative always wins. But again, you don't want to be too niche that it doesn't speak, like people just won't stop. But you don't want to be too broad that it goes to everyone. So an example of this would be, instead of saying, if you're a dad over 50 and you want to lose the belly fat, like that's too niche. Like people who aren't a dad over 50 are going to scroll and it's not going to get pushed out. You can just say, if you want to lose that stubborn belly fat, that's going to go to everyone, okay? And then throughout the script, you can say certain things that speak to your ideal client. So they know, okay, oh, this resonates with me. I'm a dad over 50 and this resonates with me. You get what I'm saying? So you don't want to, you want to be broad within your hook and then niche throughout, which I'm going to go into the next bit of the script in a minute. So what happens after the hook is most people watch the hook, they think, oh, okay, the hook is the most important part, I am going to focus on that, which is true, but then they forget something after the hook that keeps people on the video, and that's the interest peak. So an interest peak is the moment right after the hook that makes the viewer think, I need to keep watching this. The hook gets attention, the interest peak earns it, and this is where you add tension, specificity, or stakes, okay? You might hint at a mistake they're making, you might preview an outcome they care about, or you might set up a contrast between what they believe and what's actually true. So without an interest peak, even a great hook dies because they're gonna get bored, okay? People's attention span, short form content, like their attention span's finished. Even for me, I'm on TikTok sometimes or whatever, Instagram, and I'm just like scrolling and I'm like, I catch myself and I'm like, I didn't even give this video a chance. So the hook is the most important, but you have to hold their attention. So I like to use mainly credibility for interest peaks. So either using your own credibility or stealing someone else's, backed up by data. So for example, Harvard Business just released a crazy study that revealed your biceps won't grow if your arm isn't locked in a stable position. And the interest peak shouldn't be longer than 1 to 2 sentences. But why this works is because if they hear it's backed by data, if they hear, oh, someone credible's done it, or a Harvard Business study, for example, or a study's been released, they're going to be like, okay, this is actually going to be a valuable video, and it's true, okay? What he's about to say, or she's about to say, is true because there's studies and data to back it up, and it intrigues them. It makes them want to watch longer. Okay, so interest peak is super important, and most people miss out on this. Again, second link in the description, there's going to be a ton of interest peaks that you can just steal. But basically, to put it into smaller words, An interest peak intrigues the viewer to watch longer. So the value section. So we've covered hook, which is grabbing the attention. We've covered an interest peak, which is intriguing the viewer to stay on. Now you have to give them some value, okay? You have to actually get them a small win. So let's just put it like this. If someone doesn't get value from you the first time seeing you, guess what they're going to do? Never watch you again. And every time they scroll and see you, they're going to scroll right away, okay? And the algorithm won't even push you to them. So the first time someone's seeing you, a new viewer, for example, seeing you, is very important. You have to give a good first impression. First impressions matter, as in real life they do as well. So the number one thing your value section should be able to do is get your viewer a small win. They shouldn't be left confused after the video asking, what about this? It should, as I said, focus on, that's why the idea is so important, focus on one specific problem they're facing, okay? And if you don't, you tend to ramble on and get the viewers confused, like I'm doing right now. But it's okay, because this is a YouTube video. It's meant to be longer form, but shorter form, you have to get to the point. Okay, you have to get to the point quickly. So one specific topic, focus on single clear subject that addresses one pain point, one specific problem, identify the exact challenge your viewer is facing right now, and one specific solution, provide an actionable answer they can implement immediately. So let's do an example. Let me do an example right now. For one of my clients, he's a buy-in business coach. So he helps people buy businesses. What we did was we didn't get too niche, but we got specific. Basically, when you want to buy a business, you send something called a letter of intent. And we created a specific video saying the worst thing you could ever say in your letter of intent. So the people, his ideal clients, who currently are in researching buying businesses, they know about this. So it's going to speak to them. Okay, but it's not too niche that his ideal clients are like, what? Okay, they understand it, and that's who we're trying to speak to. But that solves a specific problem. What not to say, okay? And throughout that video, we explain the one thing you should say, and we give them the exact sentence, so they can implement it straight after and get a win, and get the seller messaging them back, okay? So you get what I'm saying? It has to be a specific problem that your ideal client's facing. As I said, your YouTube videos can be longer, they can be in detail. I would actually suggest posting YouTube content as well, but we won't get onto that topic today. But with short form, you need to keep it actionable so your viewer wants to watch another, leading them to ultimately see you as the authority within that specific industry. There's not a lot of people, and this is why my clients are winning, because they speak directly to one pain per video. And there's not a lot of people doing that. They're just copying formats. They're just doing these. And by the way, I'm not saying that you can't add a unique format into that so it can go a bit more viral. You can. That's what we do as well. We add, for example, with my client, again, the buying business coach, we done a tier listing. So what not to say to a seller. And we also done a tier listing on what not to buy. Okay, so what businesses not to buy. And this one done super well. Okay, because it was a different format, but it still solved one specific problem. What business do I not buy? What businesses should I avoid? Okay, it solved that specific problem. And question and concern. So when they turn up to the call, they're not going to have that question or concern at all, because we've destroyed it within the content. So what you want to ask yourself within the value section is two questions. And this is a real big test. And if these aren't yes, both of them, just restart, okay? Restart the value section. So was it worth $5? After the video, if they implemented it, would they get $5 worth of value? Okay, would they pay $5 for this information? And again, would it get them a small win? Can the viewer achieve a quick result? If they implemented it straight after the video, could they get a small result? If these two are yes, boom, you've got a really good value section. And if both aren't yeses, go back to the drawing board, okay? And now I want to go through an example. Okay, because I know some people are just like, okay, this is just info, like just give me real world examples. Okay, let me show you an example. A hook. Okay, and keep in mind, again, this is for a buying business coach. This AI tool right here is how I automate a business that generates me 40K a month within days of buying it. Okay, why is this a good hook? Because it's not too niche. Okay, it's speaking about AI. A lot of people are interested in AI. Then it speaks about how to automate a business. Okay, then they're probably like, what? What do you mean? Automate a business. Oh, this is intriguing. I'm into business. A lot of people are into business, so it's not too niche. Then it says that generates me 40k a month. Wow, 40k a month. Automated, that's insane. Within days of buying it. So we niche down a bit there. So people are like, okay, buying a business. Okay, that's a good hook. That's a very good hook. So next is the interest peak. And again, this is intriguing the viewer to watch longer. The number one thing you need when automating a business is for staff to know what they are doing and when they should do it. Okay, this is intriguing the viewer because they're like, okay, what do you mean by this? Okay, it's intriguing the viewer, and I actually didn't use data in this one. I just intrigued them by saying what we're actually going to speak about within the video. Next is the value section. So this tool is called Claude, and let me show you how to generate a training guide for your employee within seconds. Okay, so then I go on to speak about it generating with Claude. Okay, and does this get a small win? Yes, they can create an employee SOP within minutes. Is it worth $5? Yes, it saves them hours and time equals money. So this is a good script right here. And also, does it solve a specific problem? Yes, how to create an SOP with AI and automate part of the business. So now you know the value section, you know what to say, you know the hook, you know how to intrigue your viewer for more, you know how to give value that actually gets actionable wins so they trust you, so they buy from you. What happens next? Because they aren't just going to buy from you like that, okay? You need to move them over to the next stage of your funnel or get them onto your profile, okay? And this is crucial because it determines whether what your viewer is going to do next. And your call to action is crucial because it determines what your viewer is going to do next and whether they're turned into a high ticket client or not. And again, this is the call to action. Most entrepreneurs get this completely wrong. They either just end the video or say something like, thanks, see you in the next one. Imagine watching a video and at the end, you hear, thanks, see you in the next one. What does that do? You can't do anything with that. And I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's the worst thing you could literally say. So the whole point of a call to action is to get people over to the next stage of your funnel or continue watching your content so they can get nurtured and buy. This means there's only really 2 call to actions you can actually use. And most people get this overcomplicated. I hate the gurus who overcomplicate things because they just say it so you get confused, so you buy from them. Okay, don't listen to them. There's only 2 call to actions that you really need. The follow call to action, and this is just getting people to follow you, but incentivize them to. So instead of saying make sure you hit the follow, say make sure to share this video to a friend that X and follow for more X value. And this gets them to share the video, which is good because it's engagement and your video will get pushed out to more people, but also follow you and watch the rest of your content. So what I mean, let me do an actual example instead of just putting X in there. Make sure to share this to a friend that wants to grow big biceps and follow for more fitness value. An example, okay? Just a basic example. That's the first call to action, okay? Next call to action is a many chat call to action. So what you're going to do with this call to action is at the end, you want to get them to basically comment a keyword for a lead magnet, for a free guide, for a free training, or whatever, okay? So an example of this is if you want my X guide showing you exactly how to X in Y steps, comment X and I'll send it to you for free. So if you want to get my business buying guide showing you exactly how to buy a business with little to no money down in 3 simple steps, comment X and I'll send it to you for free. This increases engagement, starts a conversation and gives your setter an opportunity to book them on a call. But it starts the conversation like that. And you can also do other things. You can grab people's emails through ManyChat, add it to your email list automatically. You can grab their number, you can send voice notes automatically. And ManyChat's just all in all a very good way to get leads quickly, okay? So these are the only 2 call to actions you really need. So that's exactly how you can create killer short form video scripts that not just get views, but also attract high ticket clients. But remember, the formula is simple, but it has to be followed in order, okay? So start with a strong idea that passes the 3 question filter, craft a hook that grabs attention using one of the proven formulas, and the hook's in the second link in the description. Add an interest peak that makes viewers commit to watching. So just intrigue them. Just like, if you don't want to use the data, don't. That's what I like to use. Like, because it intrigues them for more. Just say something intriguing. Say something that's gonna intrigue the viewer to watch longer, where they're like, damn, okay, I need to know this. And then deliver value that gets them a small win and is worth at least $5. And then end with a strategic call to action that moves them to the next stage of your funnel. Now you know how to script a short form video that actually gets you high ticket clients, but you need to know the full process. You need to know how to find the idea. You need to know the format. You need to know the types of content, the objection handling, the belief shifting, how to instantly get these ideas like that. So this video in the middle of the screen right now, should be in the middle of the screen right now, will help you do that. So go watch that. I appreciate you watching this, and peace.